Welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our inward figure eight. We're going to lift it up. And we're going to do our other side, inward figure eight. We're going to try to do 4 counts, maybe 6 counts. Whenever you feel it, go ahead and switch. Just going to get warmed up with our inward figure eight switching. Try to keep the circle small as we do it. Don't go too big and wide and crazy. Keep it small, tight, and controlled. You can move around if you feel comfortable. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but opposite. Now we're going to do an outward figure eight. Going to bring it under, lift it up, switch, outward figure eight. You can go to 2, you can go to 4 if you want. Do quite a few more if you want. Either way. Remember, if we're doing 2, it's called outward figure eight strike. If we're doing more than 2, then it's just our outward figure eight. Keep going. Try to get as small as you can. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a combination. So it's going to be using our outward figure eight and our inward figure eight. So we're going to go outward figure eight strike. So again, outward figure eight strike, bring it right underneath. Then we're going to drop it down with the same hand. And we're going to do our inward figure eight block. I'm going to raise it up. So we did our simple up, front switch, outward figure eight strike. So it's 1, 2, under, inward figure eight block. It's going to be 4, up, front switch, 1, 2, under. Front switch, 1, 2, under. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, front switch, outward figure eight. Do this along with me. Front switch, outward figure eight strike. With the same side, inward figure eight block. Switch, outward figure eight strike, inward figure eight block. Up, switch, strike, block, switch, strike, block, switch. Strike, block, switch, strike, block, switch. Alright, so that's just a basic combination that we can do to have our outward figure eight strike with our inward figure eight block, and then we did a front switch in the middle of that. So next we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're going to start underneath the arm, and we're going to do our front strike, simple up, front switch, side swing, front strike, up, front switch, side swing to get it back under. Strike. So this is basically just trying to help practice our front strikes. And this is just the techniques that are used in order to be able to switch the arm. Simple up, front switch, side swing, front strike. Up, switch, swing, strike. Up, switch, swing, strike. Remember, the side swing is not a strike, so I'm not going to reach out for it for the strike. Just bring it under the arm. Front strike. Raise it up. Front switch. Side swing. Front strike. Simple up. Front switch. Side swing. Up. Switch. Side swing. Front strike. Front strike. Remember, our front strike comes forward, and then we start turning it automatically so that we swing it across. When we do it, we make contact with our body with this chuck right here, and it wraps around and then comes right back underneath. Up, switch, side swing, front strike. When you start to feel a little bit more comfortable, you can pick up speed. Front strike, simple up, switch, side swing, front strike. Okay, next we're going to do another combination. We're going to do inward figure eight, raise it up, outward figure eight strike, front strike, simple up, inward figure eight block, raise it up, outward figure eight strike, front strike, simple up, inward figure eight block, outward figure eight strike, front strike, up, switch, correction, up, and then we're switching by dropping the bottom arm down. Front strike. Raise it up. The bottom arm grabs it. Inward figure eight block. Up. Outward figure eight strike. Front strike. Sometimes I just want to switch that side. It's okay though. Bottom hand grabs it and goes straight towards our inward figure eight. Outward figure eight strike. Front strike. Bottom hand. Outward figure eight. Front strike. Simple up. Inward figure eight. Outward figure eight. Front strike. Simple up. Inward figure eight. Outward figure eight. Front strike. Up, inward, outward, front strike, 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 up. Keep practicing along with me. Okay, so the next move we're going to learn is going to be called our side strike. So our side strike is very close to our front strike. The only real difference is it's coming in a more wide arc. So this is our front strike. It comes forward and turns. Our side strike, we cock it off to the side, drop our elbow down to our hip, and throw it all the way around, and we bring it right back underneath. Cock it off to the side, throw, It's completely horizontal as we do it. Obviously, if we're aiming up higher, it has a little bit of an arc to it, but when you're throwing it, we're just trying to throw it completely horizontal. As I go right here, my wrist breaks, and I bring it in. Same as our front strike. This side is going to hit, and it just wraps around me. And then bring it up, and I catch it again. Cock it out, and catch. This is one of our most powerful strikes. It's got a really long trajectory, I guess, and that's what's going to help it accelerate even more, because it spends more time moving. So it accelerates more, it's going to have more power, but it's also going to be easier to see compared to a front strike, which just comes super quick. A side strike, you cocked it out, boom. It's really easy to see, and it's hard to stop the throw of the side strike in the middle of it. So it's got its benefits. Like I said, it is the most powerful strike, or one of the most powerful strikes. I want to make sure you turn your hip when we do our side strike. So we cock it up, and we turn here. Cock, turn here. And you're going to want that, especially when we get to the portion where we're actually hitting stuff. The ricochet, it's real. It happens. When you hit something, the nunchuck loses control for a split second, so we want to make sure we follow through. The biggest way to not get hit is to follow through. I want you still practicing the side strike with me as I'm talking. Pop it out, elbow drops down, all the way through, hips turn. But yeah, so whenever you're striking something, if you don't follow through, you're going to end up hitting your hand with the other chuck, and we don't want that. It's not fun. You could break a bone easily. So especially depending on what type of chucks you're using. If you're using really heavy ones, you're much more likely to get injured. So we want to practice that. Follow through all the way. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Same thing. Follow through all the way. Cock it out. Boom. Cock it out. Strike. Here. Strike. Out. Strike. Again, we're trying to go this horizontal plane. We're not trying to arc it up too much or have it come down like that. We want it as horizontal as possible. It just looks a lot nicer when we do it too. Catch it underneath that armpit. He made a nice sound with this as we go all the way through with it. This is called our side strike. Like I said, it's close to our front strike, but our front strike is just straight out forward. Our side strike comes out all the way around. Out, all the way around. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up. We're going to throw our side strike here. Simple up, front switch, and now from the front switch, we're just going to go ahead and throw our side strike. So I'm here, I let go with the bottom hand, I drop my elbow down, and I throw my side strike. Simple up, front switch, I still want you trying to catch it. Here, side strike. Up, front switch, side strike. Of course, later on, we could just cock it out and throw it, but I still want you right now practicing just being able to catch it and find it with the other hand. Simple up, front switch, side strike. Simple up, front switch, side strike. Up, switch, side strike. Up, switch, side strike. Keep going. Up, switch, side strike. Make sure you turn your body with that. Switch, side strike. Up, switch, side strike. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do basically the same thing, but we're going to add a front strike in there too. So let's start with our side strike. So we're going to go side strike, front strike, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch, side, front, up, switch, side, from under, front, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch, side, front, up, switch, side, front, up, switch. Side strike, front strike, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch, side, front, up, switch, side, front, up, switch, side strike, front strike, up, switch. Now, I'm going to talk to you about something, and it's called around the back. So, it usually happens from a side strike. You can do it from a front strike. Really anything that's coming and has this movement where we just hit and it's coming back. So this is when we're going to do our around the back. So our around the back looks like this. Here. Boom. Around the back. Just like this. So like I said, it usually comes, it'll be like a side strike, or we could do it from a front strike, whatever strike is moving this direction. When we hit on one side, we just bring it right back to the other side and around. So the way this works is after that strike happens, I keep this side, the one that I'm holding, the tip, and I just bring it from one hip to the other hip. Boom, just like this. So what that looks like on the back is like this. And I come here. So I'm here, and I go around. Here, and around. Here, and around. So I'm just moving this around, just like this. So this tip goes from one hip to the other hip. One hip, other hip. One hip, other hip. So I want you practicing just like this. So you can start it however you want. You can even start it down here. And just doing this, you can turn your hips with it to help get a little bit of momentum if you need to. Catch it. Right here. Bring it around. Catch. Around. Catch. Just like this. Hit. And let it go around. And you don't have to have this touching you. This doesn't have to touch you. You can bring it and around here. So the only time it really has to touch you is whenever you hit that first initial one. And the second one, I can make it so it doesn't touch me this whole time. It just comes right around. Goes right into my other hand. And that's what you're going to want later. But for right now, if you need to just kind of get the concept, you can just rub it right across your belly. Bring it around. This is our around the back. And usually our around the back leads to an around the neck, but we're not going to get to that right now. We're just going to do our around the back. So, from here, we've got our side strike around the back. And we'll raise it up. Then we can do our side strike around the back. Raise it up. Side strike around the back. Notice you kind of have to stop it if you want to raise it back up, which is why I said it usually goes into what's called around the neck, because it has this momentum that's circling this way. So it's kind of that spiral, boom, which really makes it easy to do around the neck. But for right now, like I said, we're just going to go around the back and raise it up. Side strike, catch it, and raise it up. Side strike, catch, up. Strike, catch, up. Up. If you need more practice with just catching it behind your back, learning where to put your hands at, you can just practice just like this. And go from one side to the other side. Alright, so let's kind of recap a little bit. So the two new techniques that we learned today were our side strike and our around the back. Everything else we've already learned up to this point, and we're just kind of adding it together in other combinations. Because remember, nunchucks, they're always going to be used in combinations. So now we're going to move on and we're going to do a little bit of a freestyle. So this freestyle, do, again, whatever you're feeling. Try not to keep it all in one. Just flow with it. Here, however you want. Move from one side, other side. Punch it here. So I want you to just play around with the techniques that you have and put them together however you feel works the best for you. Try to use all of the techniques though that we know. So we know inward figure eight, we know outward figure eight, we know front strike, we know side strike, we know around the back. So those are the main ones that we've done so far. We've also done obviously our front switches, our side swing, and our simple up, which if you change sides with that is just our front switch. So I want you to play around with all these techniques. If you want, you can try just practicing them on each hand. So you can go, left hand does our inward and our outward. I raise it up, that's my simple up, my side swing, my front strike, my side strike, around the back, and then I can go and do the same thing on the other side, where I go inward, outward, simple up, side swing, front strike, cock it out, side strike, around the back, front switch. So we can practice front switches if you want, getting a little bit of speed on that. Throw any strikes in here. Like I said, this is just a time we're just playing around with any techniques that you know and trying to get them to all flow together. Move around, face different directions. You can just practice circling it. And good job on that. Like I said, we learned a few new techniques, and we want to just be able to put them all together with all the other techniques that we know so far.